Welcome all to today's reading from the basics of Bhagavad Gita. We're on chapter 5, Material Nature and Time. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langatekyam. Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Denatayanam. Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubhya Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namah. I hope everyone had a lovely Radhashtami festival, those of you who were observing it yesterday. So yesterday we were talking about the three modes of material nature. That is goodness, passion and ignorance. So these are the three modes of the material nature which bind us to this material world. And each mode has got its particular characteristics. I'll just have a quick recap on those for you. So the mode of goodness is characterized by the purity, happiness and knowledge, and the result is freedom from sinful reactions. The next birth is in the heavenly planets. Mode of passion or the Rajagun is characterized by the unlimited desires, hard work, greed and worldly pleasures. The result is the bondage to the worldly activities and misery, and the next birth is amongst the worldly people on the earth. The mode of goodness, the mode of ignorance or the Tamogun is characterized by the foolishness, sleep, laziness, intoxication, uncleanliness. The result is the madness or the foolishness, and the next birth is into the animal kingdom or into the hellish planets. We were talking that Krishna is beyond these three modes, because these three modes are under his control. Maya Devi is the one who is in charge of these once we are into this world, have been born into this world. So what's the real freedom? Real freedom is to transcend the three modes, that is to break the bondage of the three ropes. Guna means rope. When we say Rajagun, Tamagun, Satagun, Guna is ropes. So this is practically impossible to do because the modes are very powerful and insurmountable. But Lord Krishna has given us the way. So the Creator who has created this creation has created the manual, so as to say how to live in this world. Bhagavad Gita was that manual which was spoken to Arjun when Arjun had the biggest dilemma facing him. He was bewildered whether to fight or not to fight, to follow his prescribed duties or not. So in chapter 7, verse 14, it says, Devi hi esha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mam eva ye prapadyante mayam etam taranti te. It's translated as, the divine energy of mind consisting of the three modes of material nature is difficult to overcome, but those who have surrendered unto me can cross beyond it. Thus, it is only by coming to the transcendental platform of the devotional service to Lord Krishna can one experience real freedom and return to our original spiritual home, that is the Vaikuntha Lok. So, let's talk about time, or as we call it, the Kal. Time or Kal is one of the 5 subjects discussed in the Bhagavad Gita, along with the soul, super soul, material nature, time, and of course the living entities. So time is one of the energies of the Lord, hence it is also eternal. In fact, Lord Krishna declares, I am inexhaustible time in Bhagavad Gita chapter 10 verse 33. Krishna acts through the agency of time to control the world due to the Kala Shakti. Everything in the material world undergoes 6 phases of transformation, namely creation, growth, maturity, production of byproduct, decay, and finally destruction. So this is something which is common to all the living entities of this material world, whether they belong to any species, whether they are the aquatics or whether they are the birds or the animals, or of course the humans. So let's talk about time further. Thus, time is the greatest subduer in this world, and it ultimately destroys everything. As Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, "Time, I am the greatest destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people." This is from chapter 11, verse 32 of Bhagavad Gita. The living entity performs activities in this world induced by Prakriti. So Prakriti, or the material nature, induces us to perform the activities in this world with the sanction of the Lord and under the control of time. Time moves undirectionally in the material world and creates division of past, present, and future. The time manifests also as various divisions in the cycle of creation, sustenance, and destruction of the universe. Since time is energy of the Lord, it must be used only in the Lord's service. In other words, we should never waste time, rather we should try to spend as much as possible to serve Krishna. So let's talk about the division of time now. The Vedic scriptures give detailed descriptions of time scales from the micro level within the atom to the macro level of the entire material creation. Now there's an interesting chart which has got some very fascinating information on the divisions of time. So when we talk about the micro time scales, 1 Dhruti is 8 divided by 13,500 of a second. 1 Veda is 8 divided by 135 of a second. 1 Lava is 8 divided by 45 of a 45th of a second. 1 Nimesha is 8 over 15 of a second, and 1 Akshana is 8 over 5th of seconds. 1 Kastha is 8 seconds, 1 Laghu is 2 minutes, 1 Danda is 30 minutes, 1 Prahar is 3 hours. Like we know, in Hindi we say a day has got 3 prahars. So 1 prahar is equal to 3 hours, 1 day is equal to 12 hours, 1 night is equal to 12 hours, and 1 paksh is equal to 15 days. So 2 pakshas comprise 1 month and 12 months comprise 1 calendar year. I'll repeat, 1 paksh comprises a month and 12 months comprises a year and 1 full orbit of the sun. A human being is expected to live up to 100 years in Kali Yuga. So, as we know, each creation has got 4. Every time Krishna creates, it has got 4 yugas, and the 4 yugas are vis-a-vis the Kali Yuga, Dwapar, Treta, Satyug. So these are called the Chatur Yugs. So they have also got time span. They've got a certain number of years for that each yuga is gonna last. So the Kali Yuga lasts for 4.32 lakh years. Like I was saying earlier, lakh has got 5 zeros. Those of us who are not familiar with the Indian terminology of lakh and crores. So Dwapar has got 8.64 lakh years, which is twice the size of the Kali Yuga. And Treta has got 12.96 lakh years, which is 3 times the size of the Kali Yuga. And the Satyug has got 17.28 lakh years, which is 4 times the size of the Kali Yuga. So what is the time of the Kali Yuga is doubled in the Dwapar, and if we triple the Kali Yuga, it becomes Treta, and if we quadruple it times 4, then it becomes the Satyug. So Satyug is the most longest one, Treta is smaller, Dwapar is even smaller, and the smallest is Kali Yuga. And as this goes on, the age of the people also gets less and less with each corresponding yugas. Their strength, their knowledge, their opulence, everything degrades as the time starts moving from Satyuga to the Kali Yuga, and finally everything goes back into the Lord. Just to give you a quick recap, yesterday we were saying that when the Garbhodaksha Vishnu, that form of Krishna doesn't come to create himself everything. He just has got some expansions of him. So Mahavishnu, then Garbhodaksha Vishnu, and the Kshirodaksha Vishnu, which is like super soul within all of us. So when that Garbhodaksha Vishnu form of Lord exhales, the creation is created, and until the exhalation is out there, everything lasts. And when it is inhaled back in, everything is finished, or it comes to an end. So we can just imagine that Lord's inhalation and exhalation is that long. And until our yuga, our Kali Yuga lasts, our Brahmaji, the Brahma of the four heads, he lasts. And we shouldn't be very big-headed about our universe like we were reading yesterday or the day before. There are other universes who have got Brahmas with even thousands or even more than thousands of heads. So you can imagine the size of those universes. And just to recap, Brahma can be any living entity amongst us, but the only clause is you have to live 100 consecutive very pious lives on this earth. So if you desire that, you can even have that post. But the qualification is too high, and if you are in this yuga, in Kali Yuga, that fourth cycle of that Chatur Yuga, Kali Yuga, which comes after when Krishna comes in the Yuga before, which is the Dwapar Yuga. Now is the time when Krishna, Lord, is in the holy name itself. We don't have to do much. We just have to take the shelter of holy name, and we can be guaranteed the sure back to Godhead and go and serve Lord there and finish our cycles of birth and death. So the Chatur Yuga or the Divya Yuga, the four yugas together, Kali Yuga, Dwapar, Treta and Satyuga together, their duration is 43.20 lakh years, which is 10 times the size of the Kali Yuga. And just to give a recap, Kali Yuga was 4.32 lakh years. So we still have loads of, we only have lived 5,000 years of this Kali Yuga. This Kali Yuga is going to last total 4.32 lakh years. When you hear rumors from the people or something going around that this world is going to come to an end, it isn't. But we feel as human beings that this Kali Yuga is already so degraded. So we can just imagine how degraded it will become in future when it comes to its culmination, when जब इसका अंत होगा तब इसका क्या दशा होगा, है ना. ये सब लिखा है हमारे शास्त्रों में कि लोगों की उम्र बहुत कम हो जाएगी जब कलयुग का अंत होने वाला होगा, जब टोटल 4.32 लाख ईयर्स हो जाएंगे. 20-25 इतना भी कोई जी लेगा तो बहुत बड़ी उसकी उम्र होगी. और जो हम अपने चारों तरफ वनस्पति और सब कुछ देखते हैं, भगवान का क्रिएशन, बहुत कुछ नहीं रहेगा, क्योंकि उस वक्त फिर अंत के पास चीज़ें होंगी. सो चलो हम सब कोशिश करते हैं इस लाइफ टाइम में हम कुछ कर जाएं, थोड़ा बहुत जी लें ऐसे कि भक्ति को अपने जीवन में लाके. कहते हैं अगर एक पर्सन एक व्यक्ति अपने परिवार में अच्छी तरह से कृष्णा की भक्ति कर ले तो वो अपने से पहले इसकी 25 पीढ़ियों को और बाद की 25 पीढ़ियों को भी कृष्णा के निकट ले आता है. और ये सब शास्त्रों में लिखा है और ये सब प्रभुपाद ने बताया है, और ये सब शास्त्रों की द्वारा लिखित ज्ञान का ही हम आपसे क्या बोलते हैं, शेयर करना, आपके साथ बांट रहे हैं. नाउ लेट्स सी वन फुल डे ऑफ ब्रह्मा. हमारे ब्रह्मा जी का एक दिन कितना होता है बड़ा? अच्छा, दैट इज इक्वल टू 864 crore years. Crore is 9 zeros. Now that is 8.64 billion years. तो ये ब्रह्मा जी पूरे चतुर्युग को सुपरवाइज करते हैं, फ्रॉम सतयुग टू कलयुग, सतयुग, द्वापर, त्रेता और कलयुग. एंड 1 year ऑफ ब्रह्मा, अब जैसे हमारा एक साल में होते हैं 365 डेज या 366 डेज एज पर द लूनर कैलेंडर, ब्रह्मा जी के एक वर्ष में होते हैं 864 times 360 crore years. So 1 year of Brahma is equal to 360 days, which is 864 times 360 crore years. His 1 year is equal to 864 crore years. So the lifetime of Brahma, which they say Brahma's life is of 100 years, which is not in our time scale of earthly years. हम अपने साल के हिसाब से उनके 100 ईयर नहीं मान सकते. Like we said, उनका एक दिन होता है 864 करोड़ साल बड़ा, which is 864 crore years और 864 billion years. तो ब्रह्मा जी की लाइफ टाइम जो उनके टाइम स्केल के हिसाब से, which is according to his time scale, is equal to 864 times 360, because his year is 360 years, 60 days long. 864 times 360 times 100 crore years, because he lives for 100 years. So it's simple maths. 864 times 360 times 100 crore years. So which we when multiply comes to 311,04,000 crore years, or 311.04 trillion years. So this is the duration of the life of Brahma. So Brahma, he will live for this long, but he will also, his life will also come to end when this finishes. And if he wants to become Brahma again, he can. So like Krishna has given us the free will, भगवान ने हमको ये स्वतंत्रता दी है, हमको इस लाइफ में वो हमारी आत्मा के साथ परमात्मा के रूप में रहेंगे हमारे हृदय में, पर उन्होंने हमको छूट दे रखी है कि हम क्या करना चाहते हैं. हमारे डिज़ायर्स की हमको स्वतंत्रता दी है. और सब कुछ जानने के बाद तो बहुत एक अजीब सा लगता है कि हम कैसे डिज़ायर्स करें और कैसे ना करें, क्योंकि देखा है मोस्ट डिज़ायर्स हमको इस दुनिया के साथ बांधते जाते हैं, और जो डिज़ायर्स हमारे पूरे नहीं हो पाते हमारे जीवन काल में, वो डिज़ायर्स ही हमको दोबारा इस जन्म में जन्म मृत्यु के चक्कर में लेके आते हैं. So, सबसे इजी तरीका है भक्ति का, जो हम हमेशा कहते हैं कि let's bring Krishna into the center of our life, into the focus of our life. Let him be like the sun and us be like planets revolving around him. Then life will be so easy. Because we won't be doing any karma or vikarma then पुण्य कर्मा और पाप कर्मा हमारे से नहीं होंगे. जब कृष्णा हमारे लाइफ के सेंटर में आ जाएंगे तो हमारे सारे कर्म अकर्मा हो जाएंगे. अकर्मा मीन्स जब हम कृष्णा को बीच में लाके कोई भी कार्य करेंगे तो उसका हमको ना कोई पाप लगेगा ना पुण्य लगेगा. और पाप और पुण्य के लिए भी हमको बार बार आना पड़ता है. पाप, जो हमारे पाप होते हैं किसी भी टाइम के, पिछले जन्म के, इस जन्म के, उससे हमको दुख मिलता है, और जो पुण्य होते हैं उससे हमको सुख मिलता है. सो ये 2 प्रकार के अकाउंट्स हैं जो दोनों खाली होते रहते हैं. हम भरते रहते हैं, उनको बड़ा करते रहते हैं, फिर उनको धीरे धीरे खाली करते रहते हैं. और इसी तरह हम घूमते रहते हैं, कभी इस योनि में कभी उस योनि में. मालूम नहीं हम किस किस योनि में घूम घूम के इस मानुष जन्म में आए हैं, और मानुष जन्म ही है जिसमें हम ये सब कर सकते हैं. आप देखिए, और जो भी योनियां हैं उनसे ये सब होना संभव नहीं है. इट इज़ वेरी डिफिकल्ट फॉर देम बिकॉज दे हैवंट गॉट द इंटेलिजेंस. उनके पास इंटेलिजेंस है तो बहुत थोड़ी सी है. किसी जानवर के पास 4 साल के बच्चे की इंटेलिजेंस है, किसी के पास मे बी 8-9 साल की, पर nobody has got the intelligence of a human being. So let's go to the next chapter, which is different forms of yoga and the topmost yoga system. So this is the last chapter of this basics of Bhagavad Gita. Okay. The different forms of yoga and the topmost yoga system. This all has been described in the Bhagavad Gita, and this is like condensed into this chapter. So one must become a yogi, Krishna says. What does yoga means? Yoga is to unite. Unite not by doing the various hatha yoga poses जो हम हाथों जो अपने बॉडी के postures करते हैं, which is called hatha yoga. That is like first step, and people just think that is the topmost yoga. No, that is just the beginning of yoga. Okay, yoga actually means to become one with God, to unite with him, because we have come from him, and eventually our souls, they want to get one with him. So one must become yogi. Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita chapter 6.46 declares that one must become a yogi. Now, big question, who is a yogi? There are many misconceptions in this regard. Let us first see what a yogi is not. Okay, very important, worth listening. He is not the one who merely performs physical exercises for good health. Second, he is not simply one with matted locks of hair sitting in austere meditation in the Himalayas. The matted is like जटाएं बना के बैठे हो हिमालय पे और योगी बने हो, वो भी जो साधना कर रहे हैं वो भी खाली योगी नहीं है, ठीक है. और तीसरा, or the third one, he is not just a man with some extraordinary powers. We see some gurus who have got big सिद्धियां हैं उनके पास, ये कर लेते हैं वो कर लेते हैं, है ना. तो खाली अगर किसी के पास सिद्धियां हो, वो भी खाली योगी नहीं है. This is all told to Arjun by Bhagwan in Bhagavad Gita. So what is yoga? The word yoga comes from the Sanskrit word yuj. Yuj means to reunite or link. It is a link of love and service. यह प्रेम और सेवा का लिंक है, कड़ी है. The Lord and the soul are eternally and constitutionally linked in a bond of love. So Lord and our soul, हमारी आत्मा भगवान के साथ एक इटर्नल, कभी ना टूटने वाले एक ऐसे कड़ी के बंधन में, प्रेम के बंधन में बंधी है. To re-establish that link is yoga. और योगा है उस लिंक को री-एस्टैब्लिश करना, उस लिंक को पुनः जीवित करना, उस कड़ी को पुनः जीवित करना. Dharma means that which cannot be separated from something. This is dharma. What is it that cannot be separated from fire? So just think in your head for 2 seconds, what is that which you cannot separate from fire? I don't know who is listening, but if you want to type, you can put in the comments. Well, the obvious one which comes to all of our heads is heat and light. We cannot separate heat or light from the fire. And what we cannot separate from the sugar? Yes, sweetness. This is the dharma of fire and sugar. So their dharma are heat and sweetness respectively. Similarly, the dharma of the living being is to serve. और हमारा धर्म क्या है? Serve करना, सेवा करना. We all have an innate tendency to love and serve. हमारी आत्मा की ये दो सबसे बड़ी विशेषताएं हैं कि हमको प्रेम करना और सेवा करना या सर्व करना सबसे अच्छा लगता है. But presently that propensity is being directed towards the people and things of this world. पर इस प्रेजेंट टाइम में हमारी जो पूरी शक्ति है वो किसको सर्व करने में लगी है और किसको प्रेम करने में लगी है? लोगों को और चीज़ों को. इस दुनिया की हम लोगों से और चीज़ों से प्यार करते हैं, दुनिया से. Therefore it simply ends in frustration. हम कितना भी प्यार कर लें लोगों से या चीज़ों से, अंत में हमको फ्रस्ट्रेशन ही मिलती. We don't feel the पूर्णता. Only when we repose our loving and serving propensity in the Supreme God, Lord Krishna, Shri Krishna, can we find real fulfillment and happiness. और ये जब हम भगवान की तरफ अपनी एनर्जी लगाते हैं सर्व करने की और प्रेम करने की, तभी हमको एक रियल फुलफिलमेंट और हैप्पीनेस का अनुभव होता है. दिस इज सनातन धर्म और इसी को सनातन धर्म कहते हैं. सनातन मीन्स इटर्नल, जो कभी नहीं खत्म होता. Dharma is the function or eternal function of the soul. So what is Sanatan Dharma? If somebody asks you, you can explain to them it is the eternal function of the soul to love and serve the Lord. So if we are not serving and loving the Lord, what we'll be doing? We'll be serving and loving the people and things of this world. Having rebelled against the will of the Lord, we are now in the material world, languishing in the miserable cycle of birth and death, like the son of a rich man who leaves his father and ends up on the street as a beggar. The son can be happy only when he is reunited with his father. Similarly, the soul can be happy when it is brought back to the service of the Lord. तो हमारी हालत हमारी सोल की उसी तरह से है कि जैसे कोई बच्चा अपने पिता से माता पिता से रूठ के घर से निकल जाए और जाके उसको बहुत तरह की कठिनाइयों का सामना करना पड़े, और हमारी आत्मा भी भगवान से रूठी हुई है और हम उनको सर्व नहीं करना चाहते थे गोलोक वृंदावन में। तो हम यहाँ पर आए हुए हैं धरती पे और हम देख रहे हैं कि ये दुखालयम अशाश्वतम है, ये टेम्पररी वर्ल्ड है, पर इसमें हम सबको तरह तरह की डिफ़िकल्टीज फेस करनी पड़ती हैं, नॉट सेव करनी पड़ती हैं, फेस करनी पड़ती हैं। So we have to reunite with our real creator or the Father to become happy for once and for all. So the real yoga is the process of re-establishing the spirit soul in its eternal function, which is Sanatan Dharma, that is to love and serve God. Sanatan is eternal, and to love and serve God, that is our dharma of our soul. Then only it becomes most happy. So what are the different categories of human beings? Human beings are of two kinds, as we see in our present societies as well, wherever in the world we are. There are law breakers and there are law abiders. So दो तरह के लोग हैं, एक कानून को मानने वाले और एक कानून को तोड़ने वाले. So the law abiders, they are differentiated into further 5 categories: sakarma karmis, sakam karmis, nishkam karmis, jnana yogi, ashtang yogi, and bhakti yogi. So we have 6 broad categories of human beings. Let us briefly discuss each of them. Of these 6, the first, the lawbreakers, are considered the 2-legged animals. The second, the karmakandis, are at least somewhat on the human platform. And the other 4 are various types of yogis. So the lawbreakers are considered the 2-legged animals, जो कानून को नहीं मानते वो 2-legged animals हैं. दूसरे karmakandis are somewhat on the human platform, and the other 4 are various types of the yogis. So we'll continue tomorrow with the other 4 types of yogis, which is the lawbreakers, the karmakandis, nishkama karma yogi, and jnana yogis, and bhakti yogis. So I think we've had some really thought-provoking reading, and I hope you have enjoyed it just like I have. And we'll try to, I think in 2 sittings or 3 sittings we'll be able to finish this chapter, and then we would have finished with the basics of Bhagavad Gita. So thank you for joining. I don't know who was with me because I couldn't see the name. Thank you for joining anyway. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a lovely, blissful day wherever you are. Just keep Krishna in the center of your life, whatever you're doing, what all your duties, all your family duties, family life, looking after your family and everything, and your life will be sublime. You just take 1 step towards Lord, and Lord will take 10 steps toward us and help us. Hare Krishna.